So, is it that time in your life yet? Do you feel like your family is complete and you and your spouse want to not worry about changing that? Well, the decision can be difficult, but the recovery doesn't have to be. After your vasectomy, you gotta get testes. Doctors usually recommend a jockstrap and ice for your boys to help with comfort. Well, testes is the best of both worlds. This is for the man who is out on the go and needs to get things done. You get the ice packs from the freezer, strap up, and saddle up. The packs give you at least 20 minutes of comfort, even if you're just sitting around watching the game. And most important, guys, no wet spots. Put on the jockstrap under your briefs and go about your day. They come in 3 sizes, medium, large, and extra large to get your right fit. Now head on over to testes.com. That's TEST-EEZE.com. TEST-EEZE.com. Your wife is going to thank you for the snip, and your testes are going to be thanking me. Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, Patreon, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, wherever, guys. While you're there, go and rate, review, subscribe, then head on over to the Facebook group and Twitter account and join in the discussion. Don't forget dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com in case you have any more lengthy topics you want to bring up. And you can find me personally, Slim Dayspring 12 on Twitter and Instagram. Well, hello everyone. Hope you all are enjoying your weekend. It is a Sunday afternoon here in Austin, Texas. Me and my family just got back. We went downtown to Bass Concert Hall and saw Stomp. My wife bought us all tickets. She was a big fan of the show from when she saw it years ago, so she wanted my daughter to experience it, so we all went down. Pretty cool. I like it, my favorite part was probably the lighter part, where they did the lighters, but not bad show, pretty nice. But while I was there, though, I did spot Sam Winchester, a.k.a. Walker, Texas Ranger. Jared Padalecki was there. I saw him with kids, and I didn't want to say hi. It's the second time since I've lived in Austin I've actually spotted him, and both times he was with his kids. The other time was at the mall, and I don't want to bother him about that or say, hey, what's up, Sam, or be that kind of dork. So I didn't say anything. I just recognized him, turned around, told my wife, and we kept walking. But for those of you who, of course, like I said, are new, I like to start off with something I like to call What's Got My Attention. Now, usually this is something that I've been reading or watching that has got my attention, as the title says. And today I'm going to go over a couple of comics that I read this week that I really enjoyed. First off is Superman, Son of Kal-El, #2 by Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor, my current favorite comic book writer, does a great job. Really enjoying this one. I was looking forward to the series, and it's not disappointing so far, so I really enjoyed that one. The Robin #5 by Joshua Williamson. Damian has entered into this kind of like almost mortal style combat type of tournament. The former Robins are there to talk him out of it when he goes back to Gotham for a bit, but then he goes back to tournament. Anyway, a couple of nice moments, in between the Robins, especially between Nightwing and Robin. Some good stuff on that. Thor, #16 by Donny Coates. I was never a big Thor guy. I'm one of those type of people where I never actually started reading Thor till Jason Aaron brought in the Mighty Thor, or Lady Thor as they call him. And I started reading it just to check it out because, honestly, I made fun of it. Making Jane Foster Thor, Lady Thor. I thought it was too gimmicky, is what I thought. So I picked it up just to have a solid opinion on it, not just be one of those type of people that just makes fun of it and never read it. Well, of course, I read it, and I loved it. So backfired on me, but I've been kind of keeping up with Thor ever since. So Thor #16, he goes, and it's interesting what they're doing is basically Thor is king of Asgard now. Odin's gone. But as king, Mjolnir is getting heavier, like he's becoming less worthy to wield it. So now he's on this journey of self-discovery and, trying to become better, I guess, as we all are, or should be in life. All right, so before I move on to my one and only topic for the week, I just want to briefly talk about this. Just a couple of hours ago, news came out that actor Ed Asner has passed away. Now, he's most known in his career for being on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, but I think more recent generations will know him as being one, Santa in the Will Ferrell holiday classic now, Elf, and then most recently, he was in the Disney Pixar movie Up. He actually voiced the main character, Carl Fredricksen. Fredricksen, in the movie Up. Disney, great film, of course. Probably more, again, more recent generations will know him from those two type of roles. Now, in a sense of geekdom, I was surprised. Actually, I went down his IMDb page and saw what he had voiced, and I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know he did all these voices. So probably the one I should have known right away was in the 90s Spider-Man animated series. He voiced J. Jonah Jameson, which I should have got that one right away, but I didn't. He also did the voice of Hudson in Gargoyles, the animated series. There was Captain Planet and the Planeteers. He was Hoggish Greedley. Batman, the animated series, he voiced Roland Daggett. And then in the Superman animated series and Justice League animated series, he voiced Granny Goodness. So I was surprised. I started going down his IMDb list, and I thought about those characters in those animated series, and I'm like, oh yeah, that is his voice, isn't it? So I was a little surprised that he did all that. Looking back, long career, died at the age of 91, lived a full life. You got to give him that. And judging again from his IMDb page, he lived it to the fullest. Seemed like a great thespian, and he will be missed in the entertainment industry, but he gave us so much to enjoy. And of course, if you haven't, watched any of the stuff that I mentioned him being in, go back, check it out, and let me know what you think. So Ed Asner, you will be missed, my man. All right, folks, well, let's get into it. So, like I said, I usually like to have about 3 topics in a show, but I don't have but one. I went through, I usually go through the Facebook page and look back at the week of the stuff that I posted and, what do I have more opinion on, or what's something more lengthy I can talk about. And there really wasn't much, except for probably the biggest story of last week. So last week in Las Vegas was the annual CinemaCon. For those of you who don't know about CinemaCon, what it is, it's all the movie studios put on presentations for people involved in the movie theater industry, like people from AMC, Cinemark, Regal, even like the really small, mom and pop theaters in small towns or something like that. They go to this or are allowed to go to it. I've wanted to go. Ever since I heard about this, I thought it'd be so cool to go to, because you could sit there and each studio gives a presentation about what they have coming out within the next year to get the theater owners enticed and excited for what's to come. The problem is, usually you have to be involved in the theater industry in some way, shape, or manner. Or also, of course, tickets I think are about $1,000 a piece. So that was a little out of my price range, to say the least. But I always still wanted to go, but it seemed cool. So anyway, the very first day of it, Sony has their presentation, and there were a lot of people who kind of guessed this was when we were going to get our first trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home, and it did not come to anybody's surprise that is where we got our first trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home. The film comes out December 17th, and of course is the third Spider-Man film in this saga, I guess you would say, franchise, MCU, however you want to call it, starring Tom Holland, of course, as the main character. Peter Parker, Spider-Man, he's all in there. So here's kind of where it comes down to, is with this film, in the grander sense, we know Kevin Feige himself has said that this is part of the multiverse saga. They've been going on. Kevin Feige started off with kind of WandaVision, and then he also said it included Spider-Man No Way Home, and then Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Didn't say anything about Loki. How that throws in there, we'll wait and see if it does. I'm not really sure, but that could play a part. We'll say. I mean, Kevin Feige didn't say anything, but I think mainly he didn't say anything way back when because he didn't want to spoil the ending to Loki season 1 is why he didn't say anything. But anyway, since this is my only topic, usually with a trailer I kind of give just a few thoughts and a brief feelings about all of it. But since it's my only topic, I'm going to go in a little more detail. I watched the trailer just a couple minutes ago and I actually wrote down notes. Usually I'm not that thorough, but I figured, like I said, I've only got one topic. I might as well just dive into it. So here we go. Now, starting off, of course, the title. What can we gather from this trailer and the title and give us some more sense of the movie? Well, first off, I'm going to say this is I think there are a lot of things in this trailer that because, it's 2 minutes long, it's, out of a 2-hour movie, it gets all out of context. I think there are a lot of tricks, especially when you're dealing with, guest stars, multiverse, all this other stuff. I think there's some tricks that, we think we know what's going on, but I bet we really don't is what it is. So from what we see from this trailer, I'm going to go off of that. But even the things that I think I see from this trailer, I will not be surprised if it's completely out of context and completely something different. But starts off, of course, my first kind of note was I didn't think Peter's secret coming out in Far From Home was going to be the main thing in this film. I thought it might be a thing in this film, but it looks like to be the main crux, the jumping off point for this entire film, and how him having his secret out is kind of ruining his life and those around him. You saw Ned looks like in a police station. Perhaps Aunt May comes in peril. I don't know. Even what's his name, Jon Favreau, Happy Hogan, might be in some trouble there. And it's all, Peter thinks it's all his fault, stemming from the fact that he's Spider-Man and everyone now knows he's Spider-Man. Given to us by the good people at the Daily Bugle, J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. That was kind of people's first kind of inkling in regards to multiverse, because if he's back playing J. Jonah Jameson as he did in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, we're bleeding over multiverses is what people are thinking. It's not just one of those things where they cast the exact same actor for the exact same role in a completely different Spider-Man franchise. People are thinking it has more to do with the fact that, it's a multiverse thing going on, bleeding over one to the other. And of course, adding fuels to the fire that, yes, we might indeed see Tobey Maguire in this film, but more on that in a few minutes. We see, of course, Peter in the police station, talking about, the end of Far From Home, where Mysterio kind of set him up, made it seem like, he's the one that killed Mysterio, and then he revealed his secret to the world. Now, one of those silly little rumors is that the person slamming the files down on the desk is Daredevil, because allegedly there's this huge following that thinks that Matt Murdock, Daredevil from Netflix, is going to be in this film. I'm not 100% saying I don't believe that. I would love that, because honestly, Daredevil is my favorite superhero comic book TV series. I say it's 3.5 seasons, actually. There's 3 seasons of Daredevil, and then you have The Defenders. So I count that as a half. Even though I wasn't a huge fan of The Defenders, I'll still count that as half a season. So Daredevil, 3.5 seasons, my favorite comic book superhero TV series. Anyway, if someone were to bet me if Daredevil was really in this one, or what's the guy who plays Charlie Cox? If Charlie Cox is actually in this movie as Matt Murdock, not even Daredevil, just Matt Murdock, I would put $50 that he's not. So that's where I'm going to sit on that. I wouldn't say 100, but I would put $50 that he is not in this film. So Peter's having trouble, and he goes to Doctor Strange, and I'm wondering what's up with the snow. In the Santorum, I forget exactly how you say it. The Santorum, there's snow. What's going on with the snow? Don't know. Little weird. Of course, I'm sure we'll figure it all out. And Peter comes in for help, trying to forget. And, Wong's warning of don't doing the spell. People are thinking that maybe Doctor Strange might not be Doctor Strange because he was so willing to help Peter alter the very fabric of reality, which is what Doctor Strange is supposed to not do. He's supposed to be protecting reality, not messing with it or allowing other people to mess with it. So I can see why people think that might not be, Doctor Strange because of that. But at the same time, if you look at Doctor Strange in his solo film, he's a little arrogant, in that Tony Stark sense. So thinking he knows best, I can see how that is Doctor Strange. Bets on that, I'll put $20 that it's not Doctor Strange, but I'm pretty sure that it is Doctor Strange. And of course, the spell goes wrong, of course, as it does, because Peter kept on talking, and I must have been something where he wasn't allowed to talk or change his mind, and the spell went wrong, is what happened. And it looks like things are happening that screwed it all up. And so here's where kind of the plot, where I'm putting together what's happening. The title of it was No Way Home. And when we got the title of it, we knew it was part of the multiverse saga. So people are thinking that maybe Peter gets lost in the multiverse and doesn't have a way home. So here's kind of my rationale, or what I think might, based off this trailer, what might be the plot or the problem of this film is the spell goes wrong and Peter gets lost in the multiverses. Yes, that's what it is. That's how you say it. Multiverses. Peter gets lost in the multiverses, living different lives. If you see in this film, of course, he's got his regular Spider-Man suit. He's got the Iron Spider suit. And then you also have him in the black suit. Yes, briefly, but you do see him in the black suit, last seen in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. But maybe he's being Peter Parker in these different realities, and that's why he's in different suits. Speaking of suits, of course, people are thinking he's in this brown coat, blue shirt, blue tie, which is what Tobey Maguire wore in, I believe, Spider-Man 3. People are thinking there's a relation to that as well. I don't know. And then I really don't know about that, but I think that's stretching it just a little bit there. But yeah, that's kind of what I think the problem is that the spell went wrong. So Peter is jumping from different multiverses, living different lives of Spider-Man, trying to find his way home, which he may never do, actually, considering, like you said, this is part of the multiverse saga. The next one is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which Tom Holland, Peter Parker, Spider-Man is going to be in. I would have no doubt that I think this film is going to end us on a cliffhanger, and we're going to see the resolution in the next Doctor Strange film. And that cool action sequence was there with the Doctor Strange and the trains. That was pretty cool. Again, messing with reality and what Doctor Strange did. That was a pretty cool. It looks like it's going to be a pretty cool action sequence there. So that'll be cool. Going back at the end, we got our cameos. So okay, let's do the most obvious cameo, which was Alfred Molina back as Dr. Octopus. The most obvious one, the one that was flat out there. He says, "Hello, Peter." Of course, I said this, and some other people online are saying this too. I don't think saying "Hello, Peter" is Tom Holland. I think it's going to be Tobey Maguire, because that's the Peter that Dr. Octopus knows. And like I said, I think, we're dealing with multiverses here, so I can see it being Tobey Maguire, especially since there are several hints in this film to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. I keep getting tongue-tied, guys. I apologize. But yeah, I mean, of course, the black suit, Dr. Octopus, I'll even say it, the suit, the gray coat that he was wearing and all this other stuff. And of course, pumpkin bombs. Hey, how about that? The Green Goblin's pumpkin bombs and that William Dafoe laugh. So if you look on IMDb, where is it here? William Dafoe is listed as Norman Osborn / Green Goblin. But the thing about IMDb is it's not really solid until the movie comes out. Like if you want to check a cast or a credit of something on IMDb, wait till the movie comes out, because IMDb is not there. It's a good site for a resource, but until the movies come out and everything's solid, this is really just a guess. They probably updated this after the trailer came out on Monday, and they think now that William Dafoe is going to be the Green Goblin because of the pumpkin bomb and the Green Goblin laugh in the background. Again, it's on to IMDb, but again, I think it's just speculation. So there's that, of course, and of course, Doc Ock, like I said, how that's going to go because Dr. Octopus at the end of Spider-Man 2 died. Where he comes in at, I don't know. We know that Jamie Foxx is coming back as Electro as well, and now that's going to be from the Amazing Spider-Man movies that were with Andrew Garfield. Now, Andrew Garfield has said he's not going to be in this film. If I had to put money on that, it wouldn't be a lot. I'm not going to give you a dollar amount, but actors lie. People in Hollywood lie. They're told to lie. Obi-Wan, Ian McGregor held in his secret for years, telling everyone he wasn't going to be Obi-Wan again. He wasn't going to be Obi-Wan again, when all the while he had been talking to Lucasfilm and knew there was going to be a Obi-Wan TV series or a movie this whole time. So actors lie, people lie, they don't want to spoil stuff. I totally understand. Whether he's telling the truth or not, oh man, if I put a dollar amount. So the dollar amount that Andrew Garfield is going to be in this movie, I'll put either 10 or 20. $10 or $20 that he is going to be in the movie is what I would put down. But I don't know. I think if it's one or the other, I think Tobey Maguire's a bigger odd to be in this film. But again, if you're bringing back Electro, Jamie Foxx, why wouldn't you bring in Andrew Garfield at least for a cameo in some way, maybe? And then the other villain that might be in this film, I suspect, would be Sandman. There's a shot there with electricity coming down, and you get, looks like dust or sand flying everywhere. And that's played by Thomas Hayden Church in Spider-Man 3, who I thought was a great villain, actually. I thought he did a great job. I enjoyed his performance in that film. It's just the film itself, when all put together, wasn't great. But here's the thing, too. I do plan on going back and rewatching all the Spider-Man films, except for maybe Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But like the Sam Raimi trilogy, the Amazing Spider-Man films, even though I wasn't a big fan of them, and then, of course, all the other Spider-Man ones that came out within the MCU. Plan on checking them all out just to kind of research myself, because it looks like the deeper knowledge you have of all of these Spider-Man films, the more well-versed you might be when it comes to this movie. And that's kind of it, kind of as far as the trailer and everything that kind of caught my attention in regards to it. I'm not a huge Spider-Man guy. I like the character. I don't love the character. But I am looking forward to this, especially kind of like with Black Widow. The things I liked about it were the parts that tied into the greater MCU. Same thing with Loki. Not a huge fan of the series. But again, with the multiverse and things that it brought about in the grander sense of the MCU, I enjoyed that too. Just very curious, what's going on with this film. I don't want to make any guesses. I don't want to speculate too much. Needless to say, I think these days, the people who are making these films and are cutting these trailers, they have to be pretty savvy, especially in a film like this with so many rumors. There's so many rumors flying around about this film and who's in it, who's not in it, what's it about, what's it not about, where does it go? It's going to be, pretty interesting to see what happens. And at this point, I'm at that point in my life where, like, I'll have my guesses and speculation, but I hold nothing firm. If you still give me a good experience, but even though you don't meet any of my expectations or any of my predictions, I'll still enjoy it. I'm happy with that. Last Jedi, I know I'm bringing up Last Jedi. Nothing I predicted did happen in that film, but I still enjoyed the hell out of it. So I'm fine with that. Last thing I will say in regards to Spider-Man and his future in the film industry, Marvel had but 2 films when they extended their contract with Sony to share Spider-Man. One of them was this film. The other one was a non-Spider-Man film, which we're all assuming is going to be Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Beyond that, Marvel and Sony do not have anything set up to continue to have sharing Spider-Man character. Should they want to put Spider-Man in their Spider-Man-less Sonyverse they got going on with Venom and Morbius and soon to be Kraven, this would be a way where I think they could do it, as far as Peter gets lost in the multiverse, can't find his way home, never finds his way home, And, kind of like a rubber band, when it flicks back, he's no longer in the MCU. He's in the Venomverse, or whatever you want to call it. Although Sony, I think, just changed it back to like their Spider-Man universe. So if that's any indication that they're bringing Spider-Man back and not continue to share him with Marvel Studios, that might be your biggest clue right there. But anyway, that's another speculation or whatever. We'll see how it goes, guys. But that is going to be it as far as my thoughts and feelings on Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Now I want to hear yours, of course. Fire back, of course. Facebook, Twitter account, Dayspring Discussions at gmail.com. I want to hear it, guys. So that's it for me this week. What do we got? Oh, yeah, Shang-Chi on Friday. I got my tickets, taking the family and then some others to go see Shang-Chi. So I'm interested in that just because I'm not hugely excited for the character, but I'm hearing really good things, of course, about this film. I heard the post-credit scene and mid-credit scenes are a good setup for the future of the MCU. And I heard, it's got some good kung fu or martial arts action, which I always enjoy that. It was good. So looking forward to that. So that'll probably be next week's show when I dive into a review of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Of course, I'll always try to get a guest host on there, usually my wife or maybe someone else, to help me go through the film. But that's going to be it for today, guys. Anything else you want to talk about? You have the Facebook group and Twitter account, Dayspring Discussions at gmail.com. And like I said before, you can find me personally, Slim Dayspring12 on Twitter and Instagram. That's it, guys. Go out, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives. And until next time, may the Force be with us all.